Hey you guys, Mr. Waltz here. I'm going to show you how to get started on your spinner project. So go into Fusion, open your data panel up, make sure you are in the West Park Engineering Project, IED period 4, students, and find your personal folder there. And you can make yourself a new folder if you want. About the spinner. Then I'll double click. So that makes that the active folder. So anything I save will automatically go there. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our spinner here. Before we do this, we're going to use some parts, standard parts. So we want to bring those into the assembly first. So we're going to go to the Insert tab and insert McMaster car component. First thing we're going to do is get a bearing. The type of bearing that we have is called a 608. So you can just type 608 in there. Those bearings will pop up. Let me expand this. And there's different kinds. The one we're going to do is the first one here. It's an open bearing. You click on the part number, and down here choose 3D SAT. That's the best format for Fusion, and then hit download, and it'll bring that bearing in, and it'll put it right at the origin, and that's perfect. Next thing we're going to do is insert a nut. We're going to use some stainless steel nuts as weights on this project. So we go back there and we can just type in hex nut. Hex nuts will come up. This one is going to be an inch nut, so you can click inch on system of measurement. Thread size is going to be 5/8, 5/16 18, right here, 5/16 18. Material is going to be stainless steel, and you'll see these 18/8 stainless steel hex nuts pop up. And expand this again. You can see here you got some choices. You got two here that are stainless steel, one that's black. I'm going to just use this top one here. Click on that, download an SAT. It puts it right on top of the bearing, which is inconvenient. So what I'm going to do is move it up a few inches, 4 inches, and leave it up there. We'll assemble it later. The other thing we need for this project is we need a screw, small screw, and a small nut. So we're going to go to Insert again with McMaster car. We'll do hex nuts again. This one is going to be a metric hex nut. The thread size is going to be M3, which means 3mm diameter. Down here on nut type, you can choose hex. Again, we're going to choose stainless steel. The reason we use stainless steel is that it does not corrode or rust easily. And when you have something that's going to be handled by people, you've got moisture and salt on your skin, and that will corrode steel pretty easily. So if we use stainless steel, we can make things last longer. So anyways, there's the first one there, 18/8 stainless steel. Going to click that. That's an M3 hex nut. Download. Put that in here. I'm going to move this one way to the back. We'll bring it in later. And then the last piece we need is an M3 screw. So I'm going to go insert master car component. We're going to type in screw. Screws will come up. This is going to be a metric screw. Thread size is going to match the nut. It'll be M3. On length, we want to choose 16 millimeters. That's going to be the correct length. Head type is rounded, and drive style is going to be Phillips. Material will be stainless, and it shows you a bunch of screws. We're going to pick this first one here, metric 18/8 stainless steel pen head Phillips screw. And the first one right here, it says it's passivated. That just means that it has a shiny finish as opposed to the black oxide finish. Click that, download it. And you'll notice that no matter what finish you choose, they always look like kind of a dull steel in Fusion. So I'm going to move that one out. So we'll put the screw and the hex in there later, and the big nut later. So if you look over here in your browser, it's got all your parts here, but the names are kind of long. So what I'm going to do is go in here and edit the names. You can just click on the text there, and I'm just going to call this 608 bearing. This one is the big nut. I'm going to call this 5/16 -18 hex nut. This one down here, this is the little nut. I'm going to call this M3 hex nut. And then the one on the bottom is going to be, I'm going to select all that. It's going to be M3. I'm going to put an X by 16 screw. Okay, so we keep that simple. You can see it's a dull steel finish, so I'd like to make something a little snappier. So I'm going to go on the 608 bearing, top item, right click, physical material. And we can go over here, we go to metal. I've got a lot of metal. And the metal I'm going to use, it's a stainless steel. It's stainless steel, comma polished. And so it's just a real shiny finish on the steel, and it makes it look good. And then what I'm going to do is drop that material on all of these metal parts so that they all have that, and it'll just make them look a little shinier. And then also, since they are actually stainless steel, it gives them the correct material in case we wanted to do some kind of simulation or stress or other physical calculations, which we don't do in this class. But it's, if you go to college and do this stuff, you're going to want to do that. The other thing we want to do before we go on is under document settings, we're going to change the units. All the components, or most of the components that we have here, are metric, so it's going to make more sense to change the units to millimeters and do that. And then what I would do at this time is save your file, call it the spinner, and then you are good to go. Go on to the next video, and I'll show you how to make the first part called the rotor. Okay, good luck. Have fun.